The student experience at North Central College is shaped by what happens in the classroom, and it's also shaped by leadership, service, participation, and the many ways students put their learning into action. Our guest today reflects that spirit in remarkable fashion. This is episode 13 of 1861, the North Central College podcast, and our guest is Macy Fleury. A recent graduate, she distinguished herself in a variety of ways as a scholar, student leader, student athlete, even an entrepreneur. This spring, she was named the 2026 Outstanding Major in Exercise Science for her exemplary academic and co-curricular performance. Now she has begun the next chapter of her North Central journey as a student in the college's physical therapy doctoral program. We'll talk with her about her undergraduate experience, her transition into graduate study, and what it means to be recognized as one of North Central's outstanding seniors. And with that, we say welcome, Macy.
Hi, thanks you so much for having me.
It's so great to have you on the podcast. You have so many diverse things to talk about. You had such a remarkable undergraduate experience, and so glad that you continue as a graduate student. We can talk about that as well. So thank you for your time.
Of course, I'm happy to be here.
So Macy, how did you get to North Central College?
Well, my North Central experience was a little bit different. I'm actually from Naperville. I grew up in Naperville. I went to St. Peter and Paul for elementary and middle school and Naperville North High School. And North Central wasn't even really on my radar as one of my colleges that I wanted to look into. I think I applied to around 20 schools on November 1st, like for the first decision day. And I actually didn't end up choosing any of those schools. And I applied to North Central in like my second round of applications. Then I only ended up visiting 4 of them, and North Central was the last one that I visited. And I really loved the energy of the track team. The academics was exactly what I was looking for, especially since I knew that I wanted to go into physical therapy. And even though they didn't have their program fully even formed yet here, I was really interested. And I was also just looking for a suburban campus. I think I went looking for other schools, and I was just looking for North Central's campus in a different place. So I decided at the end of the day that I should have just looked at North Central in the first place, and I probably would have saved myself a little bit more time. But yeah.
So what advice would you give to folks who are maybe from Naperville or nearby as they're looking at schools?
Yeah, I'd say don't eliminate any options. Keep a really open mind. Sometimes there can be things right in front of your face that you don't realize are going to be absolutely incredible when they're right there in front of you. I actually had like high school track championships here. In my 8th grade musical was done on Pfeiffer's stage. So cool. I've been here for a long time, but I didn't really know that North Central was a college campus until I actually started looking for colleges. It was just kind of a place that I had been to for different things. But yeah, I'd say just keep an open mind, and you'll never know what's right in front of you.
So you arrive at North Central as a first-year student out of high school. And what did you think you would major in when you started? What did you end up majoring in, and why?
I think I have kind of a unique track, because usually people switch their majors. A lot of my friends did while I was here. But I came in as an exercise science major. I was really gung-ho on doing physical therapy, stuck with that throughout my 4 years, absolutely loved it. And I am now in physical therapy school, as we said earlier. So just staying on that track.
Yeah. So what did you enjoy about the exercise science program?
I cannot speak highly enough of North Central's exercise science program. I truly had one of the best experiences. And as I'm now going into PT school, they prepared me very, very well. I had so many opportunities to explore exercise science within the classroom, but also outside of the classroom. I was a research assistant on one of my professor's projects, and that eventually forced me to catalyze my own passion project that was about self-esteem and exercise in middle school kids, which I just recently presented on this past year at the American College of Sports Medicine Conference and the Rawl Symposium, which was super fun. So that was an awesome opportunity to kind of take what I had learned in the classroom and apply it to something that I was really passionate about.
Hmm.
And I also just loved all of the faculty. They're all so passionate about what they're teaching, and they really want every single student to succeed.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's that makes a difference, doesn't it? To have that kind of relationship with your instructors, your faculty.
Yes, 100%. I think it genuinely made my experience here because you can learn the fundamentals of whatever your major is, wherever you go, wherever you choose. But the faculty and the people who pour into your journey as an undergraduate student and like facilitate those passions are what you remember when you look back on the journey, in addition to all the cool things that you learned.
So here you are. You graduated. Actually, you graduated in December, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes, that's correct.
and that allowed you to start right away in physical therapy in January.
Yes.
Correct.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit more about your undergrad experience. You've talked about the faculty, the relationships. What were some of the things that were maybe the most meaningful to you in that experience?
That's a good question. I think a lot of it meant a lot to me. Exercise science was a huge part of it. I also had the privilege of being a part of the track and field team here. I'm actually still on the team. My eligibility hasn't run out yet, so I've had the ability to compete through PT school, which is awesome. But I compete as a heptathlete. I've been a captain for the last 2 years now, and those girls are some of my best friends. I've had such amazing practices, meets, and just everyday conversations that are super fun that I look back on with really fond memories. And those girls are definitely what made my college experience some of the most fun years, for sure. And just being surrounded by people that show up every day to get just a little bit better in some
Mm.
aspect of their life is really something unique and special that I don't think a lot of people have the opportunity to experience. And I've just been really grateful that I've been a part of a team with a coach and teammates that really just want everybody around them to succeed.
So let's talk a little bit more about track. You mentioned that you were a captain. You also had some conference level recognition. What was that?
I competed at the conference championships a couple different times. I was injured my junior year with a pretty gnarly back injury, so I'm
Mm.
still coming off of that. But I competed in at conference in the pentathlon and the heptathlon for indoor and outdoor, respectively, my sophomore year, and then I believe I competed in triple jump in the 100 my freshman year. Junior year, I didn't compete at all, and then hopefully this upcoming season, my last one, I'll be able to do the heptathlon and the pentathlon one more time before I'm done.
And those are not easy events. Those are pretty grueling events, right?
Yeah, so I think the heptathlon is what most people think of. It's the 100 hurdles, high
Yep.
jump, shot put, 200, long jump, javelin, and 800. So I
Yeah.
love doing all the events.
You know, the line here would be that you need a good physical therapist, right?
For sure.
Yeah. Well, I hope that you stay healthy and can compete. Among the areas of recognition, I seem to recall that you were an academic all conference honoree as well, correct?
I believe so, yes.
So as we go through the conversation, folks are going to hear an awful lot about all that you did at North Central, and it's one thing to manage leadership roles in the classroom, but it's a completely different thing to add a competitive sport into it. How did you manage the time? And by the way, congratulations. Being academic all conference is not a small thing. How did you manage the time? How did you make that work?
Yeah, I always chalk it up to the fact that I truly just love what I'm doing. I just love to take every opportunity that's given to me. And it was very challenging, but it was also just a lot of balance for me. I really like having academic interests while having competitive interests as well. And that kind of also bled into the rest of the things that I did at North Central. I just wanted to see how much I could fit into my 3.5 years that I had the opportunity of experiencing at North Central as an undergrad student. So
What was it about athletics that maybe uh, make you a better, more well-rounded individual?
I think a lot of it is just uh, determination and discipline that it takes to show up every day, not just for yourself, but for your teammates. Track is a super individual sport, at least it seems that way from the outside. But on our team, we really emphasize that every single person, regardless of if they're the fastest on the team or jump the farthest or throw the farthest or vault the highest, whoever is competing at that moment has some sort of skin in the game, and they've worked really hard to show that. So I think that's really what has helped me. It's helped me learn how to work on a team. It's shown me that there are things bigger than myself that I would love to be a part of. And I think that the conference championships that I remember the most aren't necessarily the ones that we won, but they were the ones where everybody was so proud of the performance that they had put out that not winning that meet didn't even matter because we had all given everything we had for each other on the day.
How did you approach the role of captain?
That's a good question. I approached the role as captain as I think the motto I kind of stuck with was be kind, work hard, and say hello. Those are three things. Kindness. My mom showed me a movie when I was a child called Krista Stand Strong. It's like one of the American Girl doll movies, and it's stuck with me for all these years. The main character moves to a new school, and she's trying to figure out how she's going to make her new life there. I believe she was like a fourth grader, really young. And the grandmother in the movie the night before her first day of school says, hello is the first word in a new friendship. And I really came into college with that at the forefront of my mind because I just wanted to make a lot of new friends, meet a lot of new people, and that goes along with the kindness aspect too. And there were so many times where all of the amazing things that I have the privilege of looking back on over the last 3.5 years, that just simply started with hello. At one point, I said hello to somebody, and it turned into something absolutely incredible, whether it was having the privilege to be a captain on the team or even just meeting the exercise science professors that eventually helped me facilitate my projects and everything like that, and helped me get to PT school and just accomplish all the things that I've been wanting to chase for so long.
Thank you for sharing that. What a wonderful message. There's another aspect of your undergraduate experience that I want to talk about, and you mentioned it earlier that you did some research while you were an undergraduate student. Talk more about that. And then you mentioned some of the places where you presented. I want to hear more about that experience.
Yeah, so it all kind of started back in 2020, actually, when I was in high school. I wanted to find a way to share my passion for exercise and running with kids because there's all this research that says that kids are more likely to continue exercise into adulthood if they started as kids, whether it's a sport or just getting physical activity in every day. So I wanted to take that and find a way to make my community understand how exercise can really benefit them. And so I started my own nonprofit, youth running camp that year to help kids kind of get out of the house. It was 2020, and just have a way to exercise and interact with their friends. Obviously under the constraints that we were during the pandemic. And so that's what I did that year. And I wanted it to be accessible to any kid, regardless of their socioeconomic status. So the only charge for the camp is a free will donation. At that point, it was Special Olympics. But the following year, one of my campers actually passed away from a cardiac arrhythmia in her sleep. And that was super sad, especially since she was such a bright light. Her name was Colleen Fagan. She went to St. Peter and Paul School. So I knew her family as well. So that year, I decided to rebrand the camp to be the Run With Your Heart Youth Running Camp. So now all of the donations go to an organization called Young Hearts for Life, which brings free cardiac screenings to middle schools and high schools across the country so that kids can get free EKGs and have those heart abnormalities detected before it becomes too late. So that was a huge motivator for me. And so when I got to North Central, I didn't expect to necessarily keep the camp going. It was just kind of like, oh, I'm still in Naperville, might as well keep the camp going, see how long I can make it go for. And our first day is actually today for this summer. It'll be the 6th straight year. So that's awesome.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. Amazing. Yeah. So the research kind of went through that lens. So I basically decided to make a a research study on exercise and self-esteem in kids, because there's a lot of research on like kindergartners and how exercise affects self-esteem and different mental health problems in adults as well, but there's not a lot on middle school kids, which is usually where those mental health problems typically start, just from the stress of growing up or starting middle school and everything like that. So I wanted to find a way to take my camp and study it in a way where I could say, okay, these exercises are helping these kids improve their self-esteem. And the hope of the study is to eventually get it published so that doctors or medical professionals can use the camp exercise program as a way to prescribe it for kids with mental health problems, so that parents don't necessarily have to put their kids on like antidepressants or pills like that, because exercise is like a natural antidepressant. And when you're that young, you don't necessarily want to be taking medicine all the time for those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the goal. We're running the second round of the study this upcoming summer, but I had the privilege of running it last summer, and that's what I presented on at the American College of Sports Medicine conference in Michigan last year, and then the Rawl Symposium this year at North Central.
What did you learn through the process of doing the research and then presenting?
We definitely learned the results of the study were statistically significant. So that shows trending towards the idea that our camp had the ability to improve the self-esteem of these kids. And we did several types of self-esteem. There was like athletic self-esteem, social self-esteem, different domains like that, because I wanted to measure different kinds. But it did trend towards that they were seeing improvements in their mental health, which was awesome. And it's just another ode to the fact that movement is medicine. And if we can get people moving at a young age, they will be reaping benefits for the rest of their lives. And that's also why I have come into PT. That's a huge part of why PT is such a big thing for me, especially since I just love educating people on how exercise can change their lives, and how movement is not just something you do, but it's something that allows you to experience several different things across your lifetime that you may not even realize have anything to do with physical activity.
How did it feel presenting at a national conference?
It was awesome. It was a really great experience. I went with a couple of my other classmates who also had research presenting, so it was awesome to see what other North Central students were doing with their time and what they were interested in studying in regards to exercise. We all did poster presentations at that conference, so that was super awesome. Got a lot of good questions from other students across the country, and even some recommendations on how to make the study better, which I'm trying to take into account for these upcoming years before I try and get it published. But it was definitely a great experience, and it was so enlightening to see so many students who were also interested in the same things that I was. And just having the experience to also learn about other people's projects was super awesome.
Yeah, congratulations, and thank you for sharing that. What a great opportunity as an undergraduate to do research.
Yes, it was super awesome.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations. So there's another aspect of your undergraduate experience that I want to talk about for just a moment, and that is leadership opportunities, I guess. And I'll ask the question this way: what is Breakaway? What is Hexa? What is Blue Key? What are those things and other things that you were involved in, and how did they complement your collegiate experience?
Yeah, for sure. So Breakaway is a student organization on campus that focuses on bringing local and domestic service projects to North Central students. So when I came in as a freshman, I had the privilege of being the event coordinator and working on their executive board just to help plan different service events across campus, and both trips, like service trips, and more local projects. Like we went to the nursing homes around the area and did chalk art. We've done card making for kids at Edwards Hospital. But I think the biggest thing about Breakaway is the service trips. Across my 3.5 years, I had the privilege of helping plan 6 service trips with Habitat for Humanity. So we were able to take North Central students to 6 different states where we helped build houses with Habitat for Humanity. And it was a super awesome experience. I believe the states we went to were New Mexico, South Carolina, Florida. We went to Louisiana, Maine, and Colorado. So we got to see a lot of cool places while also helping a lot of people that were in need of homes. And then I believe you asked about Blue Key as well.
Blue Key, Hexa, yeah.
Yeah, so Blue Key, another service, it's an honor society on campus that revolves around service opportunities. So students are inducted into the honor society based on, I believe it's GPA or recommendation or something like that. And they have to complete a certain number of service hours by the end of their collegiate experience as being a part of that honor society. So a lot of those breakaway events crossed over with Blue Key. And I was on the exec board for that for, I believe, a semester. And I had the privilege of sending out different service opportunities or encouraging students to come to different service opportunities to help people in the area, or like I said, across the country, depending on what was happening there. And then Hexa is another student organization that focuses on educating our peers about exercise. I believe it's called the Health and Exercise Association for students. And so with the exercise science faculty, we put on a lot of fun events. Obviously I've graduated, so I'm not on the executive board anymore, but they recently did a high rocks, like an on-campus high rocks, which is like a fitness competition that involves like running and burpees and push-ups and stuff, and it was super cool. They got some cool like sponsorship things that were super awesome. But we also did different like walks around campus or different educational events, things like that. So that was also super awesome to be a part of. All these experiences were super, super fun to be a part of, and I had such a fun time being in leadership roles inside those things, and it's super fun to see how they're progressing with new students taking over those roles.
So the classroom, a number of student organizations, running your own nonprofit, doing research, track. When did you sleep?
I slept a good bit.
Good.
Wasn't losing too much sleep.
In all seriousness, what a well-rounded experience. How do you think you've benefited from doing all of those things?
I think that it's just, I wouldn't even say that I've benefited from it in a way that I've been able to put myself in all these positions. It's more, I feel privileged that people trusted me with these leadership roles and everything like that. And for me, the benefit was just meeting so many amazing people that made these experiences what they were. Without the people that went on the breakaway trips, they wouldn't have happened. And there wouldn't be 6 families with new homes. There might have been even more than 6 because we worked on several houses in some of the different trips. But being surrounded with people who are that passionate about making a difference was super special. And that was, I think, the biggest benefit for me, was just having the privilege to be a part of something bigger than myself. And seeing that all these students that come to North Central have these passions and great ideas to make the world a better place. And we're all somehow ended up in this one little school in Naperville that is also just putting out such amazing work from so many different students. I think that was probably the biggest benefit to me.
At Honors Convocation this spring, you received some recognition. I mentioned it at the top of the podcast. Outstanding exercise science major. That's a wonderful honor. And you were also recognized as one of the outstanding seniors. When you hear that, when you see that in the commencement program, when people congratulate you, what does it mean to have been identified as one of 2 outstanding seniors in the graduating class of 2026?
I am completely honored by that. I think that that's so incredibly amazing that out of all the students here that are doing such incredible things, that they thought that I was somebody that deserved that. And I'm really grateful for that opportunity. And I think that it means a lot to me, because I've seen people in the past who have won those awards that I've really looked up to, and people that I just see are doing such amazing things for this world. And I'm just so grateful and honored to be a part of North Central's history in that way.
Well, congratulations. I think there are more than a few people who would say that you certainly earned that recognition. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Your North Central journey didn't end at commencement. Tell us what you're doing now. You've referred to it, and we talked about it, but what are you doing now?
Yeah, so it was funny. I actually walked the graduation stage after finishing my first semester of PT school. So I got to graduate. I graduated in December because I didn't want to take 6 months off between my undergraduate experience and my graduate school. So I
Right.
decided to turn my college years into 3.5 and then go straight into the program. So I graduated in December. And then I was able to go through my first semester of PT school and walk the stage and do all the honors convocation things that we already talked about, which was super special to me.
Yeah.
I loved North Central so much that I decided to stay for graduate school.
Great.
I absolutely love it here, and I'm having such a great time in the PT program. Everybody is so amazing, faculty included. They're all, again, just so passionate about helping us all succeed and seeing us move towards the next step in our lives and becoming healthcare professionals, which is super awesome. And like I said, this program wasn't even a thing when I visited North Central. I
Right.
remember visiting the campus and I had a track visit. But before that, I met with Dr. Schultes, and she at that time was kind of just explaining like the skeleton of what the program was because it hadn't even had a class yet. I believe they didn't develop it until the next year, but it
And
has been
Dr. Schultes is she's the coordinator of the program.
correct. Yes, she is. So at that point, the program didn't even exist other than the
Yeah.
people who were planning it behind the scenes. But something, I had a gut feeling that I was going to end up going there, and they have the guaranteed admission standards, which I was aiming for while I was here at North Central. And then when the time came to apply, I knew that I wanted to do that. The program was so amazing. I had met so many of the faculty through admitted student days and different things like that. And I had toured the building a couple of different times to see what it was all about. And it just aligned really well with everything that I loved about North Central as an undergrad student. And I wanted to be able to take that into my graduate school experience as well.
So the degree you'll earn it's a doctorate level degree
Correct.
in physical therapy, and that will allow you to do what?
That will allow us to be like clinicians. So
Hmm.
my ultimate goal for physical therapy is I want to become a pediatric physical therapist, and my ultimate goal is to start my own outpatient physical therapy practice for pediatrics that treats kids with disabilities, physical disabilities, mental disabilities, or and sports, everything from 0 to 18. I like to say that's my plan right now. Clinicals could change that, but with everything that I've done with my running camp and my nonprofit and everything, and the research I've done, that's where I'm kind of aiming for right now.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. You're continuing a thread of service that is really admirable. You mentioned earlier that your undergraduate experience had prepared you well. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I've just found that over our first semester, a doctorate level program is going to be challenging no matter where you come from. But I found that North Central prepared me in terms of the academic load and just the way that you need to think when you're trying to become a physical therapist, especially in terms of exercise science.
Mm.
Um, that and just the standards that there are. A lot of people in my classes, they just wanted to do the absolute best that they could, and everybody was pushing each other to be the best student that they could be, and that turns into people being the best clinicians that they can be. Um, and I also found that North Central has a really strong emphasis on working together with other people to achieve your goals and help them achieve their goals, and I find that in North Central's PT program as well. We're all about working together and not having the competition that you can sometimes see in healthcare programs. So I found that the way that the program is set up is very similar to that, and North Central's undergrad experience is also similar to that. So it sets you up really well for that, and just the academic rigor that we have here. It didn't feel like much of a change for me going from undergraduate to graduate school, other than a slight increase in workload, but North Central prepared me very well in that sense as well.
How are you enjoying the program now?
I'm loving it. I'm having a great time. As I said before, the faculty are amazing. We're learning a lot. We have a lot of amazing opportunities outside of the classroom as well. I think the first semester we've had opportunities to do what we call part-time clinicals, where we go in for 2 or 3 hours to different types of clinics and different settings in the area, to kind of just shadow and see what we might be interested in for our clinical rotations. There's huge emphasis on service. Some of my classmates are actually coming to my running camp tonight as part of one of their projects. So that's super
Fantastic.
exciting. But yeah, huge emphasis on just service and just becoming the absolute best clinician that you can be, in addition to just having one of the things that our program emphasizes is the success of every learner. And I truly feel that that is what they are trying to do with my cohort, especially. And I'm sure all of them would agree with me that they are truly interested in helping us succeed and doing the thing that a lot of us have wanted to do for a very long time. And it can be daunting to try and become like a healthcare professional. I know I've definitely felt that in the past, and even going throughout the program, it's a lot of responsibility, but they really do a great job of encouraging us that we have the full capacity to do that, and just wanting us to succeed and become what they said is in the beginning of the cohort, when we started, was that eventually one day we're going to be their colleagues. So
That's right.
they really want to help us get there.
It's pretty powerful.
Yes, it is for sure.
So when do you walk across the stage again? Give us the timeline.
May 2028 will be my graduation day.
Yeah. So less than 2 years now.
Yes. Now that we're in our second semester. Yeah.
Yeah. That's wonderful. That is really wonderful. So we've reached a point of the podcast where these are questions that we ask everybody. And first off, I want to get your first memory of North Central.
Okay. I've got a few that come to mind, but I think the earliest, like I said, in 8th grade, when I was still at St. Peter and Paul, we did a production of The Wizard of Oz. And honestly, that's not the first time. It probably when I was in 1st grade, because the musical happens every year, and they have like the opening act for the younger kids, and then eventually the middle school puts on the real production. So I believe I was in the first show. I think it was the Seussical, like Cat in the Hat,
Wow.
something or other.
Wow, sure.
Back in 2011. So that would have been on hyper stage. But the one I remember the most is The Wizard of Oz. I was Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, so that was super fun.
Wonderful.
I had a time singing and dancing, and it was a lot of fun.
Did you want to sing? You want to sing now?
Oh, my theatrical career ended and began with that play. But it was a super fun memory. It was super awesome, especially because my mom did theater at St. Peter and Paul, actually, when she was that age.
Cool.
So she had a lot of fun watching. And then over the last couple of years, my other family members have been a part of that as well. And then I also had a lot of track and field conference championships for high school on the indoor track. So those are some more recent memories. For sure, but
Wonderful.
Lots of good memories at North Central. And then my dad also, maybe this was even younger than the play, he used to take us to North Central track meets just as like a fun Friday night activity.
Awesome.
So there's actually some pictures of me and my sisters looking over the shelf and watching track meets when we were like really little. So the foreshadowing there was pretty good.
Yeah, that's really, really good. Those are wonderful memories. Very wonderful. What has surprised you about North Central?
I think what surprised me the most is how I don't feel like I'm in the town that I grew up in when I'm on North Central's campus. It feels like I'm in a completely different place, which is awesome. It feels like it's its own little town inside of Naperville. And I've had such a fun time watching how my hometown that I've had all these amazing memories in has grown into my college experience as well. I actually, when I graduated, I took a video of me walking in front of all my schools, which are in like a 10-minute radius from North Central. So that was super fun. But I think that's what surprised me the most, is just how I never really noticed that North Central was in the middle of right where I lived until I actually started going here. But now I couldn't be happier that I've been able to call it home for the past however many years now.
It is an unusual phenomenon that exists where people look over the fact that there is a place that we call Naperville's University right here in just off of the downtown of Naperville. And yet you've had a profound experience on this campus.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely, I would not trade my North Central experience for the world. I've had an absolute blast being here, and I couldn't be more grateful for everybody that's poured into my journey here and every other student that's been alongside me along the way, for sure.
You recently authored a piece for Positively Naperville that spoke to folks in Naperville in particular. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was a super fun opportunity to write for them. My grandpa actually played in the Naperville Municipal Band for a really long time, and
Wonderful.
they had
Wow.
written some pieces on him and his journey to that place. And my cousins and I, when we were really little, would volunteer and hand out the program. So when Positively Naperville reached out, it was super fun to like have that full circle moment of being able to write something for them. I was really honored. But yeah, I wrote a piece about giving advice to college or high school seniors that are looking to pick a school. And I think I said a lot of what I've said already. Just keeping an open mind and just realizing that the place you might call home might be right in front of your face, even if you don't realize it. Mm-hmm. And also that if something doesn't go your way in the college admission process, that just means that the place that you're going to have all these amazing memories that you just can't fathom yet because you haven't gotten there is just right around the corner. And there's going to be another school or one of the schools that you've gotten into that's just going to make that experience what it is. And I really believe that college is truly what you make of it. And if you just attack whatever school you go to with the same energy and zeal to do well and just see what you can do with those 4 years, you really won't have a bad experience.
Profound words for sure. Macy, do you want to give shout outs?
I'll give some shout outs. Exercise science faculty, Dr. Lures, Dr. Scarbeck, Professor Littner, my parents, Katie and Brett. They have allowed me to be able to attend North Central, which is super special. And I am eternally grateful for everything they've done to help me get here. And same with my sisters, Lily and Lainey. They're both younger than me, but they give me motivation to try and achieve all these things so that I can show them what's possible. And let's see, all of my PT faculty, excited for the next few years. And my grandparents as well. They're a super big influence. They've been in Naperville for the last 40 years, I believe they've lived here. So it really started with them. They actually recently moved to Florida, which is where my family lives now. But so they just ended their Naperville chapter, but it still lives on here with me and a couple of my other family members, which is super awesome. So
wonderful. Wonderful. Be kind, work hard, say hello.
Yep. That pretty much sums it up.
It's a simple yet profound and rather sage mindset offered by our guest on episode 13 of 1861, the North Central College podcast, Macy Fleury. Macy, thank you so much for your time, for sharing your story.
Thank you so much. I've had a blast being here. I'm so thankful for you guys.
And we're thankful for you, and congratulations to all that you've accomplished. And we certainly look forward to following your journey through the end of the physical therapy program, and then off into the world to make the world a better place. And it's happening right here, starting out at North Central. So we're just thankful for you.
Thank you.
So once again, Macy Fleury, our guest, a class of 26 graduate of North Central, soon to be a class of 28 physical therapy graduate in the college's doctoral program. We say thank you to Macy, and we say thank you to all of you for listening to this episode 13 of 1861, the North Central College podcast. Thanks for listening.